G'day, welcome to this introduction to agents in Occamise. I'm just going to walk you through the different screens involved in creating an agent and explain some of the different settings for you. So let's get started and create an agent. I'll just call it customer service. There are two types of agents in Occamise. There's agents that interact with users, and a user can be both an internal business user or a customer. And then you have a system agent. And the system agent is one that receives a command or a set of commands from a system. The system in this case could be anything that's passing, like a webhook that passes information to it, or it could be another agent. It could be a scheduled task. So through our scheduler, you can schedule for an action to occur at a particular time. And what you're effectively doing is starting a conversation with this agent and you're giving it a request. But there's no human involved, so the agent knows it can't ask for clarification and it must just follow those directions as best as it can. So in this case, I'm going to choose conversational and I'm going to choose a default image and hit create. All right, so this is the main agent configuration page. Along the top, you've got some different tabs. I'll go through each one of those shortly. And then on this first general settings tab, you have a couple of areas that you're going to want to think about when you're building your agents. So the main areas that you're going to want to maybe consider changing is the large language model to use. Always recommend to try and build your solution on the latest model, and then maybe if you want to save some money or the complexity of the things the agent's trying to achieve allow it, then you could try the mini model. The mini model is actually pretty good, and it's a lot cheaper, of course, than 4.0. You can change that role again here if you want to. This agent prompt is the main area that you're going to be interacting with when you're building your agent. Here's where you define the agent's role and any of the sort of guidelines around how you want it to achieve that goal. The important directives is part of the system prompt by default. So every conversation is going to be a combination of important directives in your agent prompt and some prompting from your channel and information about the abilities assigned to the agent. So the important directives is just a sort of a tuned important directives prompt that we've developed, and we just put that there as a starting point for you. It should be pretty good in most situations, but we just want to make sure that you're aware that that prompting is part of the overall prompt. And so if you're trying to achieve a certain behavior, you may need to consider what's in the important directives as well. Underneath that, we have a launchpad description. So you can enable a channel to be available in a launchpad, which is just another menu item over here. Won't go into that too much now, but this is just the description that will show up for this agent in the launchpad. Down the bottom here, we've got knowledge categories. And here you can choose to whitelist different categories. I don't think there's any knowledge in this particular org. But if there was, I'd be able to whitelist specific categories, or I can just say this agent has access to all knowledge categories. Over here on the right, you see the channels. So when we create a new agent, it by default will create a web chat channel. You can view the details of that. But for information on the channels themselves, please refer to our video on channels. Under the abilities tab are the abilities that you want to assign or that are assigned to this agent. So I've just created some sample abilities here under Occamise folder. So these are just utility functions that Occamise has available to you. There's a whole bunch of different functions available to you out of the box. I think there's somewhere around about 60 or so different abilities that you can utilize for your agents straight out of the box without needing integrations with any other tools. So these particular abilities are just these are just sample abilities, just so I can show you this screen basically. But if you want to assign an ability to the agent, you just toggle the abilities on, and now this agent will have access to perform these actions. Then under voice settings, you get to change some of the settings around the voice that will be used on voice interactions. So we support a few different text-to-speech engines, Amazon Polly, 11 Labs, and OpenAI. And under each of those, we have different speech voices, if you like, that you can utilize as well. Please reach out if there's a voice that's not available there. We don't have many in here at the moment, but we can add one based on your requirements very, very quickly. Play filler audio messages. Play filler audio between messages. I would recommend turning that off. This is just to play a random filler message in between when the user has spoken and when the agent is able to produce a response. You can also allow DTMF input through a voice call by toggling that on. And that just means that like in a traditional IVR where you call in and it says press 1 for this, press 2 for that, you can have that sort of an interaction through the voice channel with your agent as well. And under web chat settings, we have some settings around things like conversation starters, like who should start the conversation, the agent or the user. And when the user starts a conversation, what are some guided messages that you want to put at the bottom of the web chat screen to help with that conversation? So you can edit these four as you see fit, or you can just have the agent start the conversation and you can say what you want that first message to be from the agent. We also have the ability to show AI generated message suggestions. So when that is turned on, again, at the bottom of the screen, when you're in a conversation, every time the agent's responded, the system will analyze your instructions here around generating message suggestions. And based on that guidance, it will show up to 2 buttons at the bottom of the screen for the user to click during the conversation. So that's really handy just to save the user needing to say things when they could just be clicking a button. So for example, would you like me to do this? Might be the message from the agent, and the user would have a yes and a no button at the bottom. Show copy button on agent responses as it reads. That's exactly what that does. And can process images is whether or not the agent will be able to take an image upload and then process and understand what's in that image. And obviously you can change the picture and upload your own images for that as well. These images really don't come into play anywhere, I believe, except for within our user interface. So that is a very quick introduction to the different areas of the screen, and hopefully that helps you get started with understanding how to configure agents. Thanks.